take them down, so please. Okay, let me know when you guys are ready. Yep, Linda. All right, everybody, welcome. Oh, you're not ready. I thought you were. Sorry. Would you like to have to come back with that? Be a rough ride. Okay, now we're ready. Welcome, everyone. Burlington City Council agenda, meeting number 24, December 21st, 2025, 30 p.m. at City Hall, Thomas J. Smith, Council Chambers, 400 Washington Street. Would you please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kathleen, roll call, please.
Brinker,
Here.
Phillips,
Here.
Kreitzer,
Here.
Graham-Murray,
Here.
Moffitt.
Here.
Okay, everybody's here and accounted for. First up, we have some, we're going to change our structure a little bit. We're going to allow comments from the audience for a while first, just so they don't have to wait through all the business of the city. And we do have a group that wants to address us tonight. So Jim, would you want to have them come in, or we'll do with comments from the audience? Come on in, welcome. Have a seat, and who's ever ready to speak and when speak when they're ready. When you anybody wants to address council, you can go ahead and take your mask down when you're speaking. That way it's not muffled.
Do need name and address.
Oh, I do need name and address. Thank you, Kathleen.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Pastor Robert L. Brown. My address is 30 Midtown Lane, here in Burlington, Iowa. I speak to you tonight on behalf of the Black Leadership Council, where myself is the president, and we wanted to speak to you all because of the situation with Lisa Walsh and the comments that was made. We have a problem with this situation because of the non-verbal commitment to the Black community from the city council and the mayor. I've spoken with the mayor personally. We've met with him as a council. We've received a letter from him. But this letter does not address the whole Black community as a whole. The city council have kept their voices to themselves and haven't supported the Black community to this point in any regard. And I say tonight to each of you respectfully, shame on you. We are taxpaying citizens. We respect the rules, the laws of the city of Burlington, the state of Iowa, and you all supposed to represent every community in its totality, but your non-voice pertaining to this situation have been duly noted, and it will not be forgotten. Voter Day will come. And I don't say that as a threat. I say that reminding you all that although you are in the position you're in that position because we voted to put you in that position. And because we voted to put you in that position, we will vote to get you out of that position. If you can't stand with us completely, if you can't stand up for us, then what are we here for? What are we here for? It's more than streets and roads and things like that. You all should have immediately spoke out. I'm not saying condemn F&M as a bank in its entirety, but because she's 1/3 owner of the bank. We pay our taxes. You all do business with them. What do you do with that? Are you going to withdraw the money out of F&M? Because it should be. That's the way you show the black community we stand with you. In the same way you all are disgusted with this situation, we're disgusted with it equally. But because there's not been one word, not one, shame on you. Shame on you. If the mayor would have said that, you all would have had his head on a platter. Shame on you. She was with the better Burlington business community. I mean, she go to parties with you all, the whole night. It's more than friendship. Shame on you. You leave a whole community ostracized, and you all don't say anything. Shame on you. Shame on each of you. It's wrong. Mayor, I respect you as the mayor. I still look forward to working with you, but your letter, it falls so short from what's needed. I got the letter. Other churches got the letter. But I wouldn't even read it to my congregation because it's a smack in the face. This letter addressed more about the goodness of F&M than it does the black community. And I want you to hear it because I don't want to put anything on him.
I read not to interrupt you, Pastor, but I read it into the minutes of the work, in a work session. So I have read that letter publicly, but you're welcome to read it again.
Well,
I just wanted to clarify your misconception that I had not read it publicly.
Okay, no.
And I sent it to the churches so you could share it with your congregation. So that's because no one obviously heard me read it at the work session.
Right. And if we didn't hear you read it at the work session, the community didn't hear you stand up for them as well. So.
But I did read it at the public meeting.
But I just want to point some things out about this letter. It says, to my community, I have been approached by leaders from Burlington regarding my lack of public comment on Lisa Walsh's statement on Facebook. As a private citizen and as the mayor of the city of Burlington, I wholly condemn her comments. They were wrong, vicious, and degrading, and as such have no place in this community or even this world. Because her comments was so heinous, I do not feel the need to state the obvious that I condemn her thoughts. But now realizing that my leadership position requires a statement, I regret not making a public statement earlier. However, felt it was more important to get to work on addressing the matters. It is no secret that Ms. Walsh's family owns the Farmers and Merchant Bank here in Burlington. I have been in contact with various leaders of F&M Bank regarding this issue and have communicated my thoughts directly toward the steps that need to be taken to repair the damage done to our community. If I can just stop there. We've talked, and some of the things you've conveyed to us that you would like to see happen. But to this day, nothing have happened. To this day, nothing. We still do business as usual. Oh, it's just the black community, it's not a problem. Wrong. It's a problem. And it's gonna be a problem. And it's gonna be a problem because the days of asking for someone to give us, someone to acknowledge us, someone to defend us. We're not being defended, we're not being given, we're not being protected, we're not being any of those things. So we have to do it ourselves. And we have to do it with our vote. We have to do it with our voice. But to continue on.
Can I
After-
make one correction, sir?
Yes, sir.
You said do not, and I read did not. So it makes a big difference in that statement. So,
Okay.
Please, thanks.
After talking with leaders at the bank, I feel it should be noted that Lisa Walsh's comments do not reflect the thoughts of the Walsh family or many of their good-hearted, hard-working employees who depend on the bank for their employment. I'm not sure if you all know, but immediately following the Lisa Walsh statement, there was a video that surfaced of the granddaughter of Charles E. Walsh, the daughter of Charles L. Walsh. And in this video, forgive my language, but it was, I hate this nigger, and I hate this type of nigger, and I hate that type of nigger. If it doesn't reflect the Walsh family, how do a 13-year-old get on video saying that this is how she feel about blacks if it's not in the family? I was always told that the apple don't fall far from the tree. And granted, a 13-year-old is going to have the issues that they have and do the things that they're going to do, but to be so bold and just blunt about how she feel, which is so easy to just disregard it. It don't mean nothing. But what about the whole black community that's offended, that's angry, that's upset at these comments? What about all of those people? Do we just disregard them? They don't matter? Shame on you all. And this letter further goes on to show more about the good-hearted workers at F&M Bank. Listen to this. Further, it should be recognized that for generations, F&M Bank has spearheaded charity drives, led community committees, and many other good works led by their volunteers. However, Ms. Walsh's comments was vile enough that it does not make those efforts by the bank seem like a distant memory. The bank has work to do, as do we all. I pledge better and more open communication to all in Burlington. I, along with the members of the City Council, stand with you shoulder to shoulder. I find that hard to believe simply because we still ain't heard from you. You stand with us shoulder to shoulder. Why not come out and just say, listen, until you all fix what y'all going through at the bank, we're not going to do business with you. We're not going to turn a blind eye. Maybe in years past we've done so, but we're not going to do that now. But nothing. Your silence speaks volume. It really does. It hides what she's done. It hides what the granddaughter did. It says it's all right. But God forbid if I was in a position and I said some of the things that she said or that the granddaughter said, it wouldn't even be nothing to talk about. If one of you all said it, it wouldn't be nothing to talk about. You all would be out of the position you're in and everything else. But to continually hear, I want to give them time. I want to give them time. I want to give them. How much time do we need? How much time do we give them? Do you just disregard a whole community of people that's tax-paying citizens? Do you just disregard them altogether and say, well, because of our long-standing relationship with F&M, we're going to give them time to clean up their house? Nah, that's not right. That's not right. It's not. And please understand me. I don't want to condemn any of you. I don't want to beat any of you up. All I'm asking you to do is put yourself in our shoes. How would you feel? Look at things from our mirror. what would you see? You would think if a bank vice president can say what she said on the internet, her niece can say what she said on Facebook, and nothing happened. Well, I mean, honestly, ask yourself, how would you feel? Wouldn't you be outraged? Wouldn't you be upset? And then the people that you voted for, that's supposed to represent you, that's supposed to stand for your interests, just go silent. They act as if they're mute. They don't even hear it. How would you feel? And then you wonder why we angry. You wonder why we upset. Because you don't represent us. You're not representing us. You haven't represented us. And that's wrong. That's wrong. And I'm appealing to each of you. Ask yourself, what should happen? From our position, I don't think we should do business with F&M anymore. I don't. I think, and this is just me personally feeling the way that I feel, I believe that what Lisa Walsh did was just pull the covers off of how a lot of people feel. It's not just her. It's a lot of people. But if you really want to break it, then you start saying, we ain't going to tolerate it. It can't happen here in Burlington. You say that Burlington is what's the word for it? A diverse community. How you want to represent one part of Burlington and say forget the other part? That's not diverse. That's not diverse. So I'm appealing to each of you. Ask yourself. You don't have to answer me tonight. That's fine. My prayer is that God mess with your conscience. That not only that he messed with your conscience, but he began to pull the heartstrings of your heart and make you do what's right. Because he's the only one that can fix this thing. But you sit in the position of leadership. And as a leader, if you're leading, you have to lead for everybody, not just the select few people. So we're asking, as taxpaying citizens, that we withdraw our money from F&M Bank. That all business with F&M stops. Because it was a total disrespect to every Black American here in Burlington. Got nothing to do with friendships. If you ask me, I like Charlie Walsh. Think he all right guy. I really do. But at the end of the day, my feelings for him doesn't stop what took place at the bank. And I'm not condemning the workers of the bank. I'm not condemning Charlie Walsh. But how do you separate someone that owns 1/3 of the bank from the bank? It's impossible. Because even if you told her she can't come back to the bank, she still get paid by the bank. So the only other alternative we have is to end all business relationship with F&M Bank. No other way. And to look at it any other way, we'll be fooling ourselves. So I'm asking each of you, whenever you convene to discuss whatever needs to be discussed, please consider the Black community, because we was the ones that was most affected by what was said. And we're the ones that's most affected by what's being even done now. Because when you don't speak, you speak. And Burlington have spoken. You don't really care. Because if you did, you would have immediately, I'm not saying behind closed doors, that's been the problem. Too much stuff happening behind closed doors. Let the community know that you stand for them. I hear in this letter, stand shoulder to shoulder with me. How? How? Tell me one thing that you all stand with the Black community shoulder to shoulder on. Not one thing. Look at our community. You building everything else around Burlington, but look at the Black community. But you stand shoulder to shoulder with us. Impossible. Impossible. So I'm appealing to you. I'm appealing to you. And I'm asking you humbly but boldly, fix this. Fix this. We don't want to continually pay our tax dollars to a bank that feel the way they feel about us. Fix this. We have other banks here in Burlington. It don't have to be F&M that we bank with. Do you just say, no, well, they fixed the problem. So you just disregard the issue that the black community have? We have to fix this. I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank
Is
you for
anyone
your
else?
No, that's all.
Okay, that's all?
Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. On the consent agenda tonight, we have finances and miscellaneous, minutes and previous minutes, payrolls and city claims, reports and bonds. And first up, we have a resolution approving a nuisance abatements for various properties, if anyone sees anything on that. Number 2 is a resolution approving final acceptance and release of retention monies for 2018 Mount Pleasant Street HMA overlay project. Number 3 is a resolution approving the fire department's 2020 to 2025 strategic plan. Number 4 is a resolution approving the refunding of a confined space agreement fees for Blackhawk Services Corporation. Number 5 is a resolution approving submittal of proposal for funding through the Iowa Department of Agriculture and Land Stewardship, and we're setting a date for public hearing January 4th, 2020. Consideration of an ordinance amending section 155.03, sections amended of chapter 155 International Building Code of Burlington Municipal Code. And we have 3 appointments tonight on the consent. Appointments to the Animal Authority, or Airport Authority, John Schultz, the Animal Hearing Board, Casey Shoemaker, and Flint Hills Golf Course Advisory Committee, Sherry Zeller. Is there anybody on the line besides Mr. James? Okay, is anyone in the audience tonight have any questions on the consent agenda, that something they would like discussed or pulled? If you can hear my voice? Okay, I don't hear any. Council, do you have anything on consent? Any questions? All right, can I get a motion?
Your Honor, I have a
please?
motion to approve all listed under item 1 consent agenda.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Kathleen, can we have a vote, please?
Ricker?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Kreitzer?
Yes.
Murray?
Yes.
Moffitt?
Yes.
Okay, on hearings, first one up, we have a statement, consideration of application of funding through the Iowa Economic Development Authority Community Development Block Grant Career Link, which is employment transportation funding program for Hope Haven. And I believe we have Mr. James on the line tonight, and he has some staff members. So Zach, you're up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We did cover this at the meeting last week, gave a quick overview of the grant application, and then Bob and Eva from Hope Haven kind of talked about the services that they provide and how this grant will help them. So we did give a background. I will know I've got our intern, Aya Higuchi, on the line as well. She put a lot of time and effort in this grant, and as part of this public hearing, the CDBG program, there are specific things that we have to bring out and mention during this public hearing. So I'm going to allow her to go through those points real quick and highlight those things we're required to do. And then if you have any other follow-up questions, we can answer those. So I'll let Aya go through those items. And like I said, if you have any questions at the end, we'll be by to answer those.
Okay, sounds good. Would you like to, are you going to answer those questions for us?
Aya?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I give up, but it's okay.
Okay. Fire away.
Aya, you still there?
Yeah.
If you want to go through the points now and
Okay. So the this CDBG grant that we are applying for is the transportation services to be provided by Hope Haven. This services will occur throughout their service territory of the Southeast Iowa region, and it is a demand-based service and provided to individuals with physical and mental disabilities in the region. who need transportation assistance to reach employment until they can independently do so. And this need for this project was identified due to the growing need to provide work for people with disabilities and to fulfill regional vacancies. As the needs of regional workforce and estimated Hope Haven individuals served increase, the need for additional funding emerged. And this is an extension of an existing transportation service that's being provided by Hope Haven to those individuals who are served under supported employment programs. The current or future transit operation will not displace any persons. And activity will be funded by the federal grant program called Community Development Block Grant, CDBG in short. The Iowa Economic Development Authority coordinates these funds for state of Iowa and makes them available to cities throughout different funding sources. So upon the city council's approval, the city of Burlington will be applying for the CDBG grant, Career Link grant on behalf of Hope Haven Area Development Center. And the transportation services provided to the Hope Haven clients with disabilities who need transportation to get to their employment. And this CDBG application is planned to be submitted on or around January 8th, 2021. The total project cost will be $160,750. The requested grant funding amount will be 50% of the total cost at $81,375. This includes the administration cost of $2,875 plus $77,500 for transportation services and related costs. And matching funds will be coming from a combination of Medicaid reimbursement fund and funds from Hope Haven. And then all federal funding will cover the cost of services that benefit low and moderate income persons. That's all for the project.
Okay. Is there anybody else, you want to unmute, there's anybody else that's in the audience that has questions on it? If anybody in the audience has questions regarding this community development block grant? Council, do you have any questions? Okay, can I get a motion, please? Thank you very much.
Your Honor, I have a motion to close.
Second.
Motion made and seconded? Yeah, Kreitzer.
Okay, thanks.
Kathleen, when you're ready.
Rinker,
Yes.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Murray,
Aye.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Matt,
Yes. Sorry.
resolution approving.
Resolution approving application for Career Link grant from the Iowa Economic Development Authority Community Development Block Grant Program. Sorry, I was reading the application.
And a second, we moved and seconded was Robert, seconding Kathleen. And a vote, please.
Rinker,
Yes.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Murray,
Aye.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Okay, carried. Next up is consideration of ordinance amending Chapter 81, all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles of the Burlington Municipal Code. Chief Klein, I believe you got this one.
Chapter 81 currently exists as ATVs and snowmobiles, reflecting their use on city streets. This will provide an addition of UTVs or utility terrain vehicles. Only a couple of significant changes. One would be the addition of the definition of a UTV. Secondly, the utilization of these vehicles on city streets would be specifically for snow removal during the wintertime. Provisions in the proposed code would indicate a functioning blade or snow blower on at all times, utilizing any of these vehicles. Outside of that, the ordinance doesn't change.
Okay. Does anybody in the audience have any questions? Okay, caller, do you have any questions regarding this ordinance? Hearing none. Council? Council? No? Can we get a motion to close, please?
Your Honor, I have a motion to close.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Kathleen, when you're ready?
Rinker,
Yes.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer. Yes. Graham Murray,
Aye.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Okay, it's carried. No, we need, sorry, Linda.
Your Honor, I have a motion for preliminary adoption of the first reading of an ordinance amending Chapter 81, all-terrain vehicles and snowmobiles of the Burlington Municipal Code.
Second.
Take your pick on that one, Kathleen. Can I get a vote, please?
Rinker,
Yes.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to resolutions.
Your Honor, a resolution, let me take this down. I have a resolution authorizing the filing of an application with the State of Iowa, Southeast Iowa Regional Planning for the STBG funds for improvements on Valley Street from Fifth Street to Front Street.
Second.
Mr. McGregor.
Good evening. The resolution in front of you would authorize the application for the SPG grant funds available in fiscal year '26. When we were going over the 5-year road plan, the applied roadway is Valley Street from Front Street to the newer section of concrete at Fifth Street. It would involve business front to business front replacement with PCC or concrete. And so it'd be new sidewalk and roadway. We'd realign the curb lines to flow a little bit better. As you notice now, there's some kind of jags in the roadway. The grant applied for is $1.3 million. We would use tax increment financing as the match at $850,000, bringing the total project cost to $2.15 million. As I'll later address in the 5-year road plan, we would be able to scale this project back some if we were not receiving the grant funds.
2024?
Fiscal year '26, so calendar year '25 if you're able to start the project.
Okay. Does anybody in the audience have any questions regarding this application?
Yeah,
Okay.
Chris Rutsky, 22. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening, Chris. Go ahead.
Okay, Chris Rutsky, 2228 Madison Avenue. How come this wasn't included, the whole thing, in the packet? You know, what was being asked for? Or what the application was actually asking for?
The written application is not in the packet because we're still finalizing the details of that packet, or of the application.
Okay. So the city council is gonna vote on something that's not even finalized. That doesn't sound really good to do. Also, using TIF money is not good because you might be getting grant money, but then the TIF really is just, you're just taxing every citizen of Burlington for that too, because TIF goes on the, not only is it becomes part of the funds, the taxes for the city, but also for the county and also for the school district. So, again, you don't have the details. You're voting on something to apply for when you don't have all the details. It's not really good.
This isn't a TIF project, is it?
It is.
Oh, it is? Okay.
20% match.
Oh, the 20% matches. I'm sorry. Jim?
Yeah, our portion of this will be covered by TIF, so
TIF,
that's correct. If you look at what we're using TIF for, we do have this, this is one of the things. We've got a lot of sewer work that's going on that's covered out of that. We do a significant amount of projects with that. And I mean, it's a philosophical thing. If you want to move away from doing it, we certainly can, but it's been one that we have used to try to help make our capital improvement plan work.
And the point was, Nick, we can scale this back depending on if we accept the grant. You said something about scale it back if needed.
If we didn't receive
If we didn't receive the funds, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
As far as the application not being complete, Nick, we approve things regularly under the idea of what is being approved. Applications being approved or complete are minor clerical things when it comes to small checks in a box on some of these applications, right?
This is a
So-
major street rehab. You don't have the full details, but it is a major street rehab project, and it's one that, are you adding bike lanes or anything on this one? No bike lanes, so it's not changing anything like
Okay.
that.
Just realigning some of the curbs. Okay, any other questions, council? Hearing none. Kathleen, can I get a vote?
Rinker,
Yes.
Phillips.
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Graham-Murray,
Aye.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Okay, passed. Next up is another resolution, please, Bill.
Your Honor, a resolution to approve a city contribution of not to exceed $170,000 to the Burlington Passing Track Relocation Project.
Jim?
Second.
Oh, second, sorry.
We've had a few discussions about this over the last few weeks. As we move forward with our project to do the second phase of the flood wall, going across the tracks and putting in floodgates, one of the things that we were able to do was to save some cost on those floodgates by going from 2 tracks wide down to 1 track wide. It took cooperation from the short line to make that happen. That also helped to free up a little bit of right-of-way space as we move forward. I mean, it's not a significant amount, but it does help, and it also takes out some of that congestion that goes on right in that area, which is fairly heavily trafficked. It's a pretty good benefit for the city to have happen. It's this having a movement of the passing track from the current location to further north in our park, creating some right-of-way up there for that to occur. It saves us, an estimate was about $170,000. It frees up some space in an area that is more valuable to us than that northern area. The cost for the short line was over $300,000 to make that happen. This reflects that we had savings passing it on to cover a portion of the costs that they're incurring to make this happen. It's a benefit to them too, but this wasn't one that they would have been doing this project if it wasn't for us.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience has any questions regarding this resolution? Nope, okay. Council?
I would just say that, I don't plan to support it because I like the idea of sharing in the savings, not giving 100% of the savings to the short line. We've already had that conversation, so that's my only point.
Okay. Any other comments? Kathleen, can I have a vote, please?
Rinker,
No?
Phillips.
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Graham-Murray,
Aye.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 3, please.
Your Honor, I have a resolution approving an application for funds from the Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, for a phase of the Dankworth Park to Mason Road Trail connection.
Second.
Eric,
This
please.
is an application, talked about real briefly at the end of the work session last week. We put this together quickly with Public Works. We have not had the opportunity to meet directly with both landowners. And as we're going through the budget process, we have 2 trail projects going on right now. So we don't have this match identified in the budget currently. So I'd recommend not moving forward with this grant at this time, seeing how it fits within the budget and have an opportunity to meet with those landowners because it's not going on right away as proposed, it's going on private property. So we want to make sure we get that full process through before we move forward with the grant and hopefully able to come back next year if we can get the match in and apply for it again. It's still a priority grant, but just that timing, didn't want to hurry it and have something, either not funds available or have them have some questions that haven't been answered before we apply, so,
Okay.
Was this not in this year's budget?
no.
You haven't spoke to the landowners at all?
I've communicated with them, but haven't had a chance to meet with them on site and go over the
Did they
details.
seem like- Did you get a feel for?
Not at this point, I guess, so, yeah.
So you want us to vote no then?
Yeah, at this time,
Recommend.
and hopefully we can bring back either next year or other trail grants for this project before that.
All right. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions about this resolution?
Chris Repke, 2228 Madison Avenue. It sounds like you're going to withdraw it, but again, I didn't see any information in the packet about what this grant was. Also, I'm kind of assuming by what I saw of the bike plan, it would have impacted some of my property, maybe. And so, are you going to withdraw? Are you going to be withdrawing it? Is that going to happen, or because I can shut up?
That's what Development Director Eric Tislin asked us to do, is not to approve it at this time.
Okay, so I'm going to stop talking then with that, if you're going to withdraw it.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
Council, you have any other questions? Kathleen, can we have a vote, please?
Rinker,
Nope.
Phillips,
No?
Kreitzer,
No.
Fair Murray,
No.
Moffitt.
No.
Okay, next resolution. Robert.
The honor, I have a resolution approving the 5-year road plan fiscal year 2022 through 2026. Can I get a second?
Second.
Go ahead, Nick.
So following the work session from last week, the following changes have been made, or at least outlined what the alternatives that we had discussed were. So in fiscal '23, Madison and 9th Street were left as it had previously been planned. The price had been adjusted for for the pricing that we'd got from previous projects. I removed the alternate project on that. For fiscal year 25 or 26 rather, I have Cascade and Valley Street in there, and then with Sunnyside kind of sitting in the out 6 and 7 year. The one thing that I left the same as original or as presented was the Washington Street project in fiscal 24 for the $4.8 million. I did have some basic estimates done on what other types of projects would be. So if we were to do just an asphalt overlay project in there, I think it would be difficult to avoid not touching the sidewalk. However, just an asphalt overlay would be about $1 million. Because it's federal funds, we're going to touch a lot of ADA compliance issues there, and there's a lot that exists currently with the difference in slope or grade rather between the north and south side of the road. However, after talking with Jesse, just recently working up the estimate for the Valley Street project, we could probably get that number into about the $4.2 million. However, as it sits right now, until we get into working on a better estimate, I would recommend just leaving it at the $4.8 million. So, I mean, we could reduce that, I guess, through an amendment to the resolution for the items provided, if you wanted to, but I would think just leave it for now, and it's in the 4th year out or 3rd year out. I would say that I could just amend it next year if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any problems with just leaving it. It's fine with me. Any questions on the 5-year road plan from the audience?
Yep, Chris Repke, 2228 Madison Avenue. It's on there, so I gotta speak about it. The Madison Avenue project, definitely from Madison to Madison Ave, actually from the Sunset, putting the bike lanes in, removing the on-street parking. Again, I don't think you've ever done a safety study based on the application that says this can be used or will be used and is made for elementary kids to ride your bike. It's not safe. It's going to hurt the tax base. So again, I ask you, and I'm going to be doing it till you lay down the pavement, that you keep the on-street parking, look at a different plan so it's safe. The kids who would use the bike path to get to the bike lanes, to get to the park and that, would be something safer than what you are planning to do here.
Okay, duly noted. Council, do you have any thoughts? Any concerns?
Where do the kids ride their bikes now? But did we have a discussion once, Nick, where didn't the DOT say that because of the width of that road, we shouldn't actually have parking on both sides or on one side?
That was kind of the conversation about based on what the alternate conversation, because of the funds we're receiving in federal and regulations that specify certain width requirements for lane dimensions, the parking would be removed based on the 3 travel lanes that, well, the 2 travel lanes and the park lane that exist now. So that's the reason for the reduction in lanes for the project there.
Any other thoughts or concerns? I'll express one. That's $127 million, Nick. That's an aggressive program. I like it, so. Kathleen, can we have a vote, please?
Riker,
Yes.
Phillips,
Aye.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Graham Murray,
Aye.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Okay, we've reached any other additional comments from the audience? Did you want to say something, Pastor? Yes. Okay.
Freddie Starling, 517 South 7th Street, Burlington, Iowa. Just want to thank you for this opportunity. I just want to say a few things. Maybe I was confused concerning the new police chief. And I'm very concerned about that. I may have missed it. I watched the newspaper. I had a couple of funerals during the same time out of the city of Burlington, and maybe I just missed it. I don't want to stand here and false accuse anyone, but I just had a few comments that I want to say that's very important to me. And number one is I realize the epidemic of the virus, but this is my personal, I just felt like there weren't enough open advertisement, not just for the police chief, but for the public. If I'm wrong, make it known to me. I was kind of watching the newspaper and trying to follow and see when, the questionnaire and all of that and how this was going to go. I guess I just missed out on that. And then, even at that, the call-in, I guess it was about call-ins, and then I had some questionnaires here also, but the call-ins would be all right, but I was thinking that it would have been advertised enough. And you see we have some problems, like the 2 pages that the bank advertised. To me, this is a great position for another chief coming into Burlington. With all of the I'm going to say it this way, the murders that are taking place on the black people. I think, like I said, I don't know how much advertising it was made, but I was kind of watching the newspaper, and maybe I missed it, and like I say, I had some funerals, and I'm not trying to falsely accuse anyone. I'm just making this what I see, that I felt like it should have been well advertised. Even from the newspaper, because I understand something about the newspaper, maybe didn't print something, this or that. But anyway, that's what I was more or less looking for and trying to watch and make sure, because I want to be heard. Well, you say, well, you could have been heard by calling in the number there or whatever, and that's probably so. Maybe like I say, maybe I just missed that. But, and I'm not the only one. There are several others. I don't even know what's going on. I want to be an active part of what go on in Burlington. I support Burlington. I live here. I'm a taxpayer, and not that it weren't open. I'm not saying that. I'm just making some statements. That's all, and hopefully that it makes sense. Here I went to one meeting down at the auditorium, and I got there a little bit late, but I thought maybe if it had been advertised enough, 200 people could have gathered in that big auditorium, set plenty distance, and we could have came to the mic and addressed concerning issues. I look at this paper here, I don't see no issue really on here that was asked to if these were the ones that was asked the candidates. I don't see one or two. I see George Floyd, and that's about all. And what have you, in other words, how have you worked in the community? Have you worked with the African Americans? Have you worked with the black clergy? Have you worked with the NAACP? I don't see anything benefit. I see benefiting people, but I mean benefiting black people. I just hate to put it that way, but I had to just point it black people, because our black men are the ones being shot down. And we have a chief now, like I say, maybe a wonderful chief. I'm not trying to put anyone down. I'm just saying, I just thought that it would have been more open, and maybe more people would have been able to voice what they have to say. And in the voice, it may swerve this man's or this woman's mind to maybe make another choice, or this or that. And along with that, and I thought it'd been excellent to get to school, at the auditorium. I mean, it'd have been more open, just rather than telephone calls. And I mean, well, you say, well, this is the way we do things. Well, maybe something need to be changed. I mean, you know, I don't bother all about the streets. I don't bother all about the millions of dollars that is being spent. I'm not down here about that. I mean, you take care of that. I'm down here concerning lives. Black people are being shot down, and many of them are wrong, and many of the police, I believe, are wrong. I'm not trying to uphold. I'm just saying. So I'm saying this. That's all I saw in here, basically. I had some questions that I would love to be answered. You know, we have other officers here, in-house officers. You know, and we have favoritism. Let's face it. All of us. That's just the way it is. But I believe when you have someone work their way up in the rank and good enough to be our citizen, be our assistant, you know, I'm just a little hesitant about it. You know, if I had to make the choice, maybe I'd made a bad choice. Maybe you know. And I'm not saying it's a bad choice. I'm just saying maybe I'd have chose someone else. Maybe if we'd have had a meeting, if I'd been in that position, maybe I'd have chose this same man. Maybe I'd have chose the assistant that's here now, looking after our city. You know, somebody gonna be hurt. I'm sure that if the acting chief, I'm sure he's hurt. And even the one that didn't get it, I would have, if he didn't get it to one, I'm sure he'd probably been hurt. But I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm expressing the feeling of myself and many others. And they're in question. And so I said, well, I have enough nerves to come down here and ask, be informed. You have many people sitting in the backyard and eating barbecue and smoking and drinking and whatever and won't come and voice what they have to say. You know, I was taught a little different. Approach men and women as a man, you know. So I just question. I say this. I say like this. Question like, have you been out of the small town? How many African Americans are there in that small town? How many African Americans maybe on your watch in that small town got shot or got killed? You know, I'm asking. You know, I don't see any of these questions on here to ask. I don't know what was asked by people calling in. I don't know. I'm just saying. I just looked over this, and it's more. I mean, it's more African American than George Floyd. I mean, things that happened to him, and so I just felt like myself. Everything is is a rerun, revote, or this or that. I just kind of I don't feel very comfortable about it, and I'm not trying to throw the blame on no one. I'm just talking about my feelings, and I like to be upfront. And like I say, I thought it could have been a more open forum myself, and more questions that the African Americans could have addressed. I don't know how many called in on the kind of relationship that he had in these smaller towns. Was there any African Americans there? What's your dealing with African Americans? I don't see anything. How do you feel about African Americans? How you feel about blacks? I think some of these questions I've been asking, because I'm going to have to be governed by this chief. And I'm not putting the chief down, God forbid. I'm just saying I would feel better and I would feel comfortable had these questions been addressed, and maybe they were. So I guess I'm speaking before the ones that could probably tell me now at the next meeting, maybe I could feel more comfortable. And like I say, these are my comments, and I think one other, and I don't want to forget it, is I think also on this, if you want to know the heart of the black community, why not contact the black preachers if you want to know the heart of the black community? The black preachers have more influence over the black people here in the city probably than anyone else in our congregations. But yet we feel like we're left out. Boy, I mean, if you want to know something, and this is a small town, we know all our black churches here. It ain't no big deal. Because whatever, and this here, we can be contacted. There could have been a meeting call. You could have got the feel of the black community through the black pastors. Now, we have to deal with this. So, it was one other thing I wanted to say, and I didn't have it written down. But that's one of my major feelings. And then we have, I'm gonna go back to it. We have good police here, and that's my feeling. And I just, I don't know anything about this chief of police. I wish I knew more. Maybe more was said. Maybe I just missed it. I'm not trying to put the blame on no one. I'm just majorly concerned. We have some ill feelings. We have some very ill feelings. I mean, it's among people, period, not just black people. It's among people, period. But we are the ones basically suffer, and don't seem like no one think like we think. You don't think like I think. You have not been through what I've been through. I haven't been through what you've been through. So I think when we're reaching out at this is a major position that somehow we should have been brought in on this. Maybe had a meeting, sit down and talk with us if you're concerned about us, because I want to say this, I'm afraid this will be my last thought, is we are customers. I'm a customer here. I'm a customer, and I'm a dissatisfied customer. So, just like tonight, I mean, we have some things that we really need to work on, we really need to deal with. We really need to come and find out how others feel, not just be so much a more or less a one-way street. So that's my comment tonight. I didn't come down here to badger no one. I didn't come down here to try to put anyone down. I just come down here to voice my feelings, and I pray that you will hear what I had to say, reverse it and put yourself in my position. When your people are being shot down by my race of people, how would you be feeling? And I'm not saying everybody right. I'm not saying the police is all wrong. I'm not saying these are all wrong. I'm just making a statement tonight, and that's why I feel. And I also feel, my feelings is I feel comfortable having our assistant, I'm going to say it, assistant chief in this position. That's my take on it. Thank you.
Thank you,
Reverend,
Pastor.
I do want to answer a couple questions. You asked about public input, and I would just say that we had 4 public input sessions regarding the police chief position. I believe the mayor had a series of meetings, and then the consultant firm that was hired had 4 separate meetings where the public was allowed to come. And then I believe there were also, I wanted to say, there were numerous questions posed to all the candidates regarding the social climate there is today. So I just wanted to answer some of your questions.
Yeah, what I was, excuse me, I'll come back.
Yeah,
Oh,
go
I
ahead.
was just saying, maybe I missed it. I mean, when everything was going on, you know, where you can't come down to the,
It's been a tough year that way, yeah.
well, I'm just saying, you know, I'm gonna say it again. This big article was posted by the bank, 2 big old pages. I mean, none of us should have, I don't know how the people, I'm talking to people, they don't even know nothing about it. I don't know what's going on. I mean, not that you didn't do what you're supposed to do. I mean, maybe that just happened, but hey, you have all the money. I mean, hey, that don't hurt nothing to post a big old couple of pages. And I understand what I understand what you were saying, but I'm concerned about some of these questions. That still bothers me. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to, listen, I want to say this. I'm a pastor. I'm going to say, get this out. I don't come down here and try to run your job. That's your job. And if you come to my church, you probably find something there. There's a lot of things I need to correct. Well, that's all I'm saying. So I don't want you to feel like I'm down here trying to beat you up or whatever, anything like that. I'm just down here, concerned citizen. That's all. Trying to voice what's in my heart. And I want to be peaceful. I want to be able to work with the city council. I want to be able to work with it. We've been the last, Beard and the last 3 police chiefs. We've been having a good relationship. I mean, we've been able to work together. We've been down in the police chamber there and talked with them and things that they have worked with us with. And so these are things, I don't know. You know, I know who I'm working with here. And I'm not trying to put the new chief down or anything. I'm just saying, I mean, hey, it may take me a long time to get to know somebody and who you're going to bring in and all of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor. Is there anybody on the phone yet? Any other comments from the audience?
Yeah, I'm still here, Chris Rumpke.
Okay.
2220 Madison Avenue. Can I go ahead?
Yeah.
Hello? Oh, okay. One of the things is, you've been doing these grants, you see them at the end of the calendar year in a busy time. It's really not a good time to do it. People aren't paying attention. You need to be more upfront and open with them. Second, on the Madison Avenue about the parking, again, you got to remember the city had 3 options: seek the grant, take away parking, or pay for it and do the parking. Do the bike lanes. You're hurt for the sake of money. You're hurting neighborhoods and putting something unsafe in. In line with that, me and my wife and I, we went out to see the Christmas lights. Radio station had, where you could go and you could vote. And we went out. And the roads, a lot of these side streets are just absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. And some of the money, like instead of the parking lot at Fifth and Valley, $500,000 to the recplex parking would have been better spent on a lot of these side streets rather than those. And third, I'd like you to see to consider for your next budget is to get maybe what I call, I'm not probably saying this right, a radar trailer. You see them sometimes around where it says your speed and it flashes up what you're actually doing and what the speed limit is. I'd like to see the city do that where you can keep records and that and move it in areas where traffic is really high or fast. I think you'll find it needful. If you continue to put the bike lanes in on Madison, you'll find that the speed limit there will rise 10 miles per hour. I live now south of that area on Madison, and the traffic from south of Harrison to the end of town moves quite a bit above the speed limit. You see people doing 50, 60 at times on that stretch. So it would be helpful to have something like that. I'd like to see you consider that in your next budget. Thank you.
Thank you. Was that lady wanting to address this? Did you want to address council? I understand. I didn't know if you wanted to. No, I was listening to my. Okay, thank you. All right, so there's no other comments from the audience. Let's hear, Eric, anything from you? Stephanie? No, Nick?
Harrison Street should be opening back up sometime Wednesday. They're pouring the concrete tomorrow, but by the time it takes to set up, it will need a couple days. So the road should be open Wednesday is my expectation. So.
Good, thank you. Jeff, anything? Matt, anything? Jim? No. Council? Final comments? Bill?
Nothing.
Coming back to you, Linda. Robert? Linda?
Kudos to everyone involved with the musical pageant program at Memorial Auditorium this weekend. It was really heartwarming. In a season of sadness, it was nice to have something uplifting. And everybody this holiday season, be gentle on yourself. We're imperfect people in an imperfect world. So God bless everyone and happy holidays.
Matt?
Just gonna say Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Definitely appreciate everyone's comments tonight. We're working toward it. I think we're working to a better Burlington, so we appreciate it. It's not always comfortable to hear, but we're working on it. So thank you, Merry Christmas, and I guess we'll have a work session on the 28th. I thought we had the day off. Thanks a lot, Kathleen. That's all right, and so we'll be able to say Happy New Year then. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to close.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Kathleen?
Rinker,
Yes.
Phillips,
Yes.
Kreitzer,
Yes.
Graham Murray,
Yes, please.
Moffitt.
Yes.
Okay, we are adjourned.